Welcome back, Patriots, to a special episode of the Bald Brad Show. I was not late. I'm sure many of you over on Rumble could see thumbnails being posted, but for some reason, I could not get into my Rumble Studio account. I was then not even allowed to go live on Rumble or YouTube or Twitter. And here's another thing for conspiracy theories. I was only able to officially go live the second. And when I say go live, I mean that I reset Rumble. I was locked out of my accounts. I had to go in and reset everything. So you'll have to take my word for it. I promise you, I was here ready to go. As a matter of fact, I already listened to the speech myself while I was trying to set up the live stream because I couldn't get in. And I'm not exaggerating this. The moment he ended his speech, probably 2 seconds after, I refreshed the page, I clicked log in, and all of a sudden, poof, it worked. Now, I'm sure many of you have already seen the stream itself or the speech. If you haven't, well, we're going to do a breakdown of it right now together. It was only 10 minutes, so it wasn't a long one at all, which is weird because I would say for the last month, well, really, since he's done his debate, he's only really done an average of 15 minutes, 5 to 15, somewhere in that range. So there's not much in terms of what he did. Really lackluster speech. So really not impressive whatsoever coming from Joe Biden. But we'll get it going in one moment. I see all of you in the chat. It's good to see you, Patriots. Thank you for showing up here to the Bald Brad channel. Again, you know, I will always call out my flaws and, you know, when it's my fault. This one's not my fault. So if Dylan's in here, Rumble, don't know what happened with that. So let's get into the speech itself of him starting. And here we go.
My fellow Americans.
We'll break it down.
I'm speaking to you tonight from behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. In this sacred space, I'm surrounded by portraits of extraordinary American presidents. Thomas Jefferson wrote the immortal words that guide this nation. George Washington, who showed us presidents are not kings.
I did get shut out, Jerry.
Abraham Lincoln, who implored us to reject malice. Franklin Roosevelt, who inspired us to reject fear. I revere this office.
Jeez.
But I love my country more.
Very mumbling.
It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think is more important than any title. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people. And we can never forget that. And I never have. I've made it clear that I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine our fate of our nation and the world for decades to come.
There's truth to that.
America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward.
Okay. So what he's saying here is if you vote for Donald Trump, things are going to move backwards. If you vote for the nut job Kamala Harris, who's easily beat, like by far, through even data points, which they deleted off the internet. We'll get into that in tomorrow's episode at 7 a.m. Be there, be square. She is the most progressive senator in all of the Senate. You heard that correctly. Out of 100 people, she is the worst senator by measuring data, which again, we will show tomorrow because the media deleted it. You guys, luckily we got screenshots of this stuff. That's the person that's going to move you forward. The lady that destroyed California in conjunction with Gavin Newsom is all of a sudden, after destroying a state, she's somehow going to make the federal level better in destroying this country. That's really what's going to happen. Here we go.
Between hope and hate.
You see the dichotomy here? Remember, we're supposed to change the rhetoric, you guys. He just did a speech from that same position allegedly like 2 weeks ago. Now, I don't even know if this was live or not. It says it's live, but come on, probably pre-recorded. But look, we're pre-record or not, whether it's live or not, it doesn't matter. Love or hate? So it seems like he and his vice president must hate this country, because look at the shitstorm that we're in. I don't mean to cuss, but that's what we're in. People can't afford groceries. He talks about later on that inflation's going down when inflation is still up from when he took office. Gas prices through the roof, electricity's through the roof, your energy prices are through the roof, your grocery bill are through the roof, your gas bill. I mean, just name it. It's all through the roof. Look, I mean, they're burning the American flag outside, what was it, the Capitol today with these Palestinian protesters that all support Kamala Harris. Folks, these protesters are not conservative Republican. Let that think in. The party that burns the American flag is the party that somehow was the same party that created the Ku Klux Klan, was anti-civil rights multiple times through multiple decades, is the same party that had all the shenanigans going on here, and is the same party that has voters for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden burning the American flag today. Little weird, but remember, we're the party of hate, you guys. We're the party that isn't about love. By the way, conservatives, Republicans tend to overly be people of faith compared to the independents as well as the Democrat Party. But you're right. Yeah, no, that's because we're the extremists, you guys. We're the racists. Remember, we're the threats to democracy. We want to destroy this country. We don't want to make it better. We're all about hate, not love. Insane. That's no different than... I'm not even going to get there. Let's go.
Between unity and division, we have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect?
Ask yourself that,
freedom,
Mr. President.
justice, and democracy. In this moment, we can see those we disagree with not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. Can we do that? Does character in public life still matter? I believe I know the answer to these questions because I know you, the American people. And I know this: we are a great nation because we are good people. When you elected me to this office, I promised to always level with you, to tell you the truth.
What? This guy. Stop it, Joe. Joe, just stop it. Don't go out like this, Joe. Joe, don't go out like this. Oh, he was always truthful, you guys. Yeah, he was going to level with us. He was the most transparent administration ever. Gab said, Brad, this is the biggest pile of doo-doo ever. Absolutely, sir. Sorry, I had to censor that a little bit. YouTube's been on my case. As you can see, we weren't even able to log in. I want to be leveling with you guys. The dude has been off his rocker for, I don't know, the better of 4 years. Never once leveled with us. The dude had classified documents. We still haven't got the Her report in terms of the tapes. We still haven't heard the audio from that. I mean, he didn't even level with us 24 hours before he decided to drop out. And you know what? That's being generous. I'm going to go as far as 4 hours. His own campaign was going out saying he's still in the race. He didn't even level with them. He didn't even level with the people he was working with. Which, by the way, we all know this was an inside job, folks. We all know. Don't give me this. Kamala Harris was working for weeks on her campaign. You don't sit there and turn around and start having everything already created, everything ready to go. We already know this because the government sucks. The government is slow as a snail. This has been going on for weeks, working with the Obama campaign, working with the Biden campaign, working with the deep state, working with media to get all this up and going. He hasn't been transparent one bit with the American people.
And the truth, the sacred cause of this country is larger than any one of us. And those of us who cherish that cause, cherish it so much. A cause of American democracy itself must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me
Tell us, Joe.
I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor.
Was it not united before? Because in his letter, he made it seem like it was all united before. Everything was great and dandy. Wait, I read his letter. His signature was on it. He said how great everything was. Why would your party not be united? You guys, I mean, you know this. What you are looking at right now is the most popular president in American history. There has never been a president this popular, according to what the polls were, or at least the data showed from the last election. So why would your party be divided? Why would you need to step down? You are more popular than Barack Obama, my friend.
I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy.
Remember, guys, change your rhetoric. He doesn't have to change his. You heard his speech last time from the Oval Office. He has to change nothing. You have to change your rhetoric. Why? Because you're a threat to democracy. You're a threat to the country. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. Kamala Harris, in like one of her first speeches as the nominee of the Democrat Party, called you extremists. You're a threat. So we said they're going to continue the same thing, but you guys have to change. See a common theme here? See, he's going to unite the country, but at the same time, he's going to call half of us threats. Remarkable. Who is, again, folks, in the live chat, I see all of you in here. I see Gabby in here. I see Lisa. I see JWE Reviews. I see all of you. I'm in here with you. You guys tell me, what party do you think was burning the American flag today? Now, the choices are, let's do a poll. Let's have some fun here. Let's do a poll. What party was burning the American flag today? Was it Dems or was it Repubs? Let's just take a poll. Let's just take a poll. Who do you guys think was today burning the American flag? Was it Democrats, Republicans? We put a poll up. Charlotte thinks it's recorded. It probably was, but who knows? We're labeled we might as well just say what we want, right? Because no matter what we say that comes out to be true, we're just labeled conspiracy theorists. You know? That's what it is, right? We're always pulling stuff out of our tushies, aren't we? Tushies. I gotta be careful here. Unbelievable, isn't it? Really wild stuff, folks. Really wild stuff. We got a lot of people watching. Man, is something going on with Rumble today? Rumble's really, really roughing it right now. What's going on? 100% say Dems. Might as well close the poll. I don't think there'll be a single person. Yes, correct. But remember, you're the threat, you guys. Careful.
That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices.
Wasn't that time when people casted 14 million votes for this guy to be the Democratic nominee? Well, wasn't that the time? So this guy's going to talk about unifying the country, and the way that we do that in terms of elections, Joe, is we use democracy, where people go out and vote for a representative that's going to speak on their behalf. And your party seems to have just said, well, fuck that. We're not going to do that. So much for democracy. I mean, that's what they did. There's not a single person out there that actually ever voted for Kamala Harris. Never happened in our country's history, by the way. I mean, a lot of things under this president has never happened in our history, but nobody. You could scour this earth in all seriousness, and I mean this in all literal sense, and not find a single person. There's not a soul that can be reached, a human body that can be touched, a person that can be spoken to that actually voted for Kamala Harris. Let that sink in. Statistically, just to let you know, would be impossible, but they did the impossible at the possible.
And that time and place is now. Over the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families. Grow our economy. I'll keep defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights. From the right to vote to the right to choose. I'll keep calling out hate and extremism. Make it clear there is no place.
I forgot how good it got. Oh, I was so preoccupied earlier. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck, dude.
No place in America for political violence or any violence ever, period. I'm going to keep speaking out to protect our kids from gun violence. Our planet from climate crisis is the existential threat. And I will keep fighting for my cancer moonshot so we can end cancer as we know it, because we can do it.
I totally forgot he said that. Joe. Did you guys remember it was this good? I know we played it earlier, but you gotta love that he calls it his moonshot. Yeah, I was trying to hit the moon. Joe, you wouldn't know the moon if it hit you in the face, buddy.
I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform.
Oh, here we go.
This is critical to our democracy.
Folks, there's a pledge that Kamala Harris just might be packing the courts. Get ready for that one.
Supreme Court reform. You know, I will keep working to ensure America remains strong, secure, and the leader of the free world.
You're a struggle, buddy.
I'm the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine and doing more damage. We'll keep NATO stronger, and I'll make it more powerful and more united than any time in all of our history. I'll keep doing the same for our allies in the Pacific. You know, when I came to office, conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore.
Did anybody think that was conventional wisdom? I mean, even if Donald Trump said that, I didn't think they would pass us now. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, but the route that we're going with this guy in office, yeah, they will pass us. The guy that you see on your screen is the guy that looked at Donald Trump in 2020 and goes, China's going to eat your lunch, man. This guy's done nothing to China. Nothing.
And I'm going to keep working to end the war in Gaza, bring home all the hostages, and bring peace and security to the Middle East and end this war. We're also working around the clock to bring home Americans being unjustly detained all around the world. You know, we've come so far since my inauguration. On that day, I told you, as I stood in that winter, we were stood in a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities. Peril and possibilities.
I don't even know what he just said.
We were in the grip of the worst pandemic in the century, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. But we came together as Americans. We got through it. We emerged stronger, more prosperous, and more secure.
Joe, just, buddy, stop doing this to yourself. We're more secure. The FBI director was just sitting there in front of Congress saying, yeah, things are bad. There's terrorists in the country that are going to harm us. Today, like 12 hours before he's talking right now, thousands of terrorists in this country, but you're more secure. Because he's clenching his fist, you know he's serious about it. You know what I mean?
Today, we have the strongest economy in the world, creating nearly 16 million new jobs, a record.
Dude. It used to be 12. He just keeps throwing out numbers. It's 16. He didn't create 16 million new jobs, by the way. And just so you know that this administration's been total BS the entire time, they actually had, who was it? The guy, was it Powell? That came out and goes, yeah, we inflated the numbers. Sorry, we got to adjust it by negative almost 300,000. Yeah, but he's the most transparent president. You heard him. He said he wants to level with you guys.
Wages are up. Inflation continues to come down.
Wages are not up, and inflation is not down. Inflation is still up. Real wages are down under this guy, but he'll sit there and lie to you in the Oval Office. But remember how they sat there and said, there's no way we can allow Donald Trump into the Oval Office. Look what he's going to do to it. Can you have a guy that's been with a lot of women be in the Oval Office all the while, like Bill Clinton received a blowjob in the Oval Office, and this guy sits there and does nothing but lie the entire time to our faces? I mean, at least give him that, right? We got to give Joe Biden props. The way he came in lying is the way he's going out. That of a liar. You got to give him props. He stood strong in that regard up until the end. I mean, this guy's dying breath. He'll be sitting there and saying, I marched down the streets with Dr. King in an 18-wheeler. Up until his dying breath, folks, this guy will be lying out of his damn dentures.
The racial wealth gap is the lowest it's been in 20 years. We're literally rebuilding our entire nation, urban, suburban, rural, and tribal communities. Manufacturing has come back to America. We're leading the world again in chips and science and innovation. We finally beat Big Pharma after all these years to lower the cost of prescription drugs for seniors.
But not you guys. Hey, we got seniors cheaper stuff, which is a good thing. I'm not hounding it. But what about everybody else, Joe? You know, one of those things you got for seniors is you lowered the cost of inhalers. That was it. Yeah, there's not much in that list of going after Big Pharma.
We keep fighting to make sure we lower the cost for everyone, not just seniors.
Oh, that should have happened, I don't know, 3 years ago, Joe.
More people have health care today in America than ever before. And I signed one of those...
By the way, Kamala Harris wants to get rid of your privatized health care. We covered that in today's episode. So this whole idea of whatever Joe's saying, please understand that it's all going to be negative if Kamala Harris gets in office. She is the most drastic choice that's probably ever been put forward for the office of the presidency. And I'm not being an alarmist. I'm not trying to be an extremist. That is just pure fact. The Democrat Party, there is nobody out there that is further left than Kamala Harris at present time in terms of her record as a senator. Hasn't happened in America's history. You are so close to socialism. The only person you could put forth that's more socialist than Kamala Harris is Bernie Sanders.
Significant loss helping millions of veterans and their families who are exposed to toxic materials. You know, most significant climate law ever in the history of the world. The first major gun safety law in 30 years. And today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today.
Yo. Yo. You guys, all you can do is laugh. All you can do is just burn it down. Just burn the place to the ground. Can we hear it? Can we hear it again? Is that okay with the Patriots? Can we hear it again?
Today, the first major gun safety law in 30 years. Today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low.
Sure it is.
We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office. I've kept my commitment to appoint the first black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
DEI
I also
hire,
kept my
right?
commitment to have an administration that looks like America. And be a president for all Americans.
So does that mean that you're going to have 13% of African Americans as part of your administration? Because if that's not correct, Joe, you just lied to us. I want this to be parsed out. I need to see roughly 8% black American men, just black men in his administration. I need to see the other 7%, it's a little bit less than that, of black women in his administration. If there's anything more or less, I'm going to be upset. And it goes with white people. If that percentage of white people, Joe, doesn't correlate with the percent of the population in this country, I'm going to be pissed. It goes with Hispanics and Asians. If there's not, I want to see proportionality, Joe. If not, you're a liar. You're a liar, Joe. By the way, guys, we can't call Kamala Harris a DEI hire because, well, you know, we'll be deemed racist. You know, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You talk facts, you're racist. You don't talk facts, you're racist. So you might as well just say what you're going to say. You know what I'm saying? Folks, we've never been closer to like an actual all-out war in this country. We've never been closer to a World War III. We've never been closer to dire times. And he's going to put forward Kamala Harris. It's really a remarkable thing, is it not, folks? And sometimes when you're listening to a speech, you got to make sure that you're actually awake for this thing. We haven't talked about these bad boys in a couple of days, but I figured now's a good time to take a quick break and talk about something positive here because this guy, Joe Biden, sucks. Well, if you're curious on what I've been drinking, we got it right here. I don't want to spill it, but we got the 1775 coffee in the mug right now, folks. Say goodbye to Starbucks. I call it $5 because that's where it's going. Kamala Harris gets in office. Be expected to pay $8, $9 for a cup of coffee with that lady running the show. Well, we got Rumble 1775 coffee. A lot of you Patriots right in the chat that you actually have this already and you love it. There's nothing like any other brand like this one, folks. This is a brand that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it, which we like here on the show. They let us say what we want to say, and they sponsor the show. Visit 1775coffee.com. Use promo code Studio40, folks. This one's been in the chamber for a while. You get 40% off with that promo code. They're losing money on this deal. They're like, we're so for free speech. Let's just give people the coffee they need to stay awake during Joe Biden's speech. 40% off by going to 1775coffee.com. Use Studio40. This coffee comes in medium and dark roast. I preferably, to get this kind of beard, you guys, you got to get the dark roast. It's also comes in what's called pea berry. It's like a cone of coffee. It's absolutely delicious. It's premium brand. You can go to the link in the live chat description. Go directly to 1775coffee.com. If you don't see the link in the description or the chat, there's a QR code for all of you. And use promo code Studio40 to get that 40% off today, folks. Check it out. It's good. It's premium. Now, if you're not drinking coffee to stay awake during this, well, let's continue and get that coffee going.
That's what I've done. I ran for president 4 years ago.
Oh, God, don't remind us.
Because I believed and still do that the soul of America was at stake. The very
Still
nature
is.
of who we are was at stake.
Still is.
And that's still the case. America's an idea.
Did he say that's still a case?
And that's still the case.
Oh my God. Who put that in the speech? Who put that in the speech? He just kicked himself. He's like Jim Carrey in Liar Liar when he's inside the bathroom and the guy walks in on him kicking his own ass. He's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm kicking my own ass." The guy just sit there and just shit on himself. "I came in to do this and this, and it still didn't work, and so it's still bad."
America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world.
So
That
you want to
idea is that
destroy it?
we
Why?
hold these truths to be self-evident. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Isn't it interesting that he talks? I've always thought about this. Guys, remember, I was pro-choice my entire life up until about 27, 28 years old. I'm pro-life now. I'm 35, just turned 35 not too long ago. It actually does not make sense. And we talk about this in the book in terms of abortion. It's the last chapter of my book, Trojan Horse. It actually doesn't make sense that you're going to be for life, but then also be for abortion. And some people claim to follow those words that he just stated. And also be pro-choice. You can't. You can't. It doesn't make sense to me. We fleshed that whole abortion case out in the book. Check it out.
We've never fully lived up to it,
You know
to
the
this
thing.
sacred idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now.
Oh.
In just a few months, the American people will choose the course of America's future. I
God,
made
I
my
hate
choice.
listening to him. Like you hear
I've
him.
made my views known.
Ugh.
I would like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable. She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country. Now the choice is up to you, the American people. When you make that choice, remember the words of Benjamin Franklin hanging on my wall here in the Oval Office, alongside the busts of Dr. King and Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez. When Ben Franklin
Dude, just fucking the mumbling man gets me. This is a Chavez. Cesar Chavez.
was asked as he emerged from the convention going on,
Good job, Joe. Sound it out.
whether the founders have given America a monarchy or republic, Franklin's response was a republic, if you can keep it.
Well,
A republic, if you can keep it.
yeah. He's lecturing us now about keeping a republic that has aspects of democracy in it, but this is, again, the party that didn't want to utilize the process of democracy to put forth a Democratic nominee named Kamala Harris. Again, not a single vote. But he's going to lecture us, guys. He's transparent. You got to listen to him. Joe Biden's truth, guys. He's honest Abe. There is no lie that's being told from this man. You know what I think it is? You know how Pinocchio's nose grows? Like, whenever he lies? I think Joe Biden is the way he is because, one, he probably sold his soul off to the devil to be president. But really, in actuality, this is what happens when you lie. I mean, if you want to scare the shit out of your kids and tell them this is what happens when you lie, I'll tell you what, your kid will never lie again. They'll always tell the truth. Just say, you know what, Jimmy? if you want to keep lying, this is what you're going to look like. Joe's actually 55, but Joe looks 150. Okay, this is the outcome of lying, you guys.
Whether we keep our republic is now in your hands. My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special about America.
Reminds me of those ITT Tech commercials. You guys remember those? I was a U.S. Senator for 50 years, and no one ever said I could be president because I was too deranged and, quite frankly, not all with it. But here I am. Oh, man.
We're a nation of promise and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things. I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others.
I told you he sold his soul. I told you.
A million times in return, with the love and support of the American people. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do.
Then why didn't you have the people vote for Kamala Harris? It's pretty like kingship, right? Just to put somebody up without people voting for that person, isn't it? Pretty much like a dictator saying, hey, I want this person to be my successor. Just go out. You don't need to vote. No, you don't need anybody to vote for you. What are you talking about? Again, it's a remarkable thing that people will listen to this and they'll just take it all in as its pure truth. And by the way, I don't even do that with Donald Trump. I don't sit there and take, who the hell in their right mind would sit there and take everything Donald Trump says as pure truth? We all love Trump here for the most part, okay? I just want to be clear. Again, I know I got to repeat myself. We got a lot of new people. I voted for him in 2016. I voted for Trump in 2020. You're damn right I'm voting for him again. But I'm just saying, I can sit there and parse out and read between the lines of what Donald Trump is exaggerating in and where he's being his comedic, actorish stuff in there versus like what he actually means. And you know what? I just realized something, you guys. This is what's nice about doing the shows. You kind of parse out your thoughts in real time. Some would say it's not a really smart idea, but, we do it anyways. Maybe that's why Democrats just don't get it. Because they're not actually capable of deciphering what somebody's saying as what's entertainment, what is BS, what are lies, what's truth. They're not able to do it. You guys, they're taking this guy's, all his words. Just let that sink in. There's people out there that are sitting there and just listening to everything like he's the second coming of Christ right now and just absorbing all his words as pure truth. And they're roaming the earth. And they're roaming the earth.
History is in your hands. The power is in your hands.
But it's not if you're Democrat. If you're Republican, it is. If you're Republican, it is. Democrat, no. Democrat, no. You ever talk to a Democrat, you can't say the power's in their hands anymore. Your vote matters. They didn't have a vote. Like, you understand what's happening right now? Oh, they're going to sit there and tell you about your voter rights. They're for voter rights. You heard it from the beginning of the speech. Where's the vote, Joe? Where's the vote, Miss Harris? Where's the vote, Democrats? Show me the proof. Everybody, I want to see the proof of who actually voted for Kamala Harris. Guess what? You're not going to find it because it doesn't exist.
The idea of America lies in your hands. We just have to keep faith, keep the faith. And remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together, preserve our democracy. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank
God, there is just nothing. There's nothing there, folks. That dude barely even said that he was dropping out of the race. Do you think that he found out? Do you think they did this without him knowing? We'll never find out. But it is an interesting thought, is it not? Like if he actually bowed out of the race, like on his terms. It's an interesting conspiracy theory. There wasn't anything there in terms of dropping out of the race, right? So now they're just openly using CGI and everybody's pretending they're not singing it. But well, there is actually a lot of like CGI AI of Joe Biden stuff, but I mean it's clear as day that obviously that wasn't AI. You guys, come on. Careful, some people are going to take it seriously. AI is new. It's tough to like see if some stuff is real or not. That was actually Joe Biden. Well, what we think is to be Joe Biden. I think COVID did him good. He hasn't been together for a while. Joe hasn't been together in years. This was a talking point 4 years ago. Joe wasn't with us, and he still isn't. And what's astonishing here, you guys, I mean, they're puppeting Kamala Harris out like it's nothing. Just today, it's going to get worse, you guys. Again, I'll give you a precursor, a little bit of a teaser to tomorrow's show. The media is full blown going out and removing stuff from the internet, you guys. This is some Orwellian stuff. Very rarely do you hear me say like, oh, this is Aristotelian, or this is Rousseau, or this is this or that in terms of philosophy, or like citing like actually a book of like, this is Orwellian. Like that stuff is there. A lot of people don't know what the hell you're talking about when you say it. So that's why I don't talk about those types of, I guess, words as much. So here's a little bit of a precursor, you guys. We said it was going to happen. This is some wild stuff. Remember, these are the people that are for like free speech, allegedly. These are for the people about getting the truth out to you, leveling with you, being transparent. You guys, it's been what, 72 hours if we're being generous? Axios deletes calling Harris the border czar. GovTrack deletes calling Harris the most liberal senator. Harris was a shining example of DI. Now calling her DI candidate is false and racist. You are about to see things you've never seen in your life before, which is really crazy because I'm 35 and I know a lot of you are older than me, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it just gives credibility to the fact of like, you're about to see some crazy stuff right now. This lady was removed from a survey of her being easily the worst senator in American history. And here's a little bit of that. Here's a little bit of that flag burning today for y'all. And again, I'll make sure I mute this because it's loud. This is not the Republican Party doing this, you guys. These are Democrats. These are progressive lefties. And that's what they think about this country. This is stuff that you see in the Middle East. This is the stuff you see in Iran, and they're laughing about it. This is who Democrats want in this country. Now, they have a right to free speech. They have a right to do this. But again, if you think America's so terrible to the point where you'd want to burn the flag, why live here? And you know, it's interesting, right? None of these people want to go live in their, I guess, the land that they love so much. They don't want to go to Gaza. It's really weird, right? That none of these people are willing to go to Gaza. Why are they here? Weird, right? It's always interesting how that works out, that they choose to live here, but they don't choose to live at the place of which they're in support of, that they're rallying behind. You know what I mean? Weird. That is disgusting. Yeah, it's sad. You're seeing the fall of the Republic. I mean, I know I plug it a lot, you guys. There's multiple reasons why I wrote this book. One, it was challenging for me, right? To be able to write a book is my bucket list. Two, it was a book that I would want to read myself, or else there's no way in hell I would have been able to write 65, 70,000 words, somewhere in that range. And three, this is going to be a timely book forever. How the left is going to destroy America, or is destroying America. As long as the Democrat Party keeps having outgrowths called the progressive left, this book will always be timely. It will always sell. Because everything in here is the ideology of the progressive left, and they're only getting more powerful. They're only getting more powerful. And the media is complicit in it. We have a whole chapter about the mainstream media. They're all complicit. It will always be relevant because this country is heading in the wrong direction. And I've gone as far, I know I hate to be a Debbie Downer here, but there's no turning it around. You could slow it down. We could slow our progression down in terms of our republic falling, but it's going to head that direction regardless. And I say that because, one, just look around you. Look where we were at our country's founding up till now. I'm not saying we haven't made progress. We made a ton of progress. But if you look at what's going on around you, that all data points to that's where we're going. from them chiseling away at our rights to them trying to restructure things when it doesn't fit their narrative. It's constantly the Democrats are doing this, right? It's the Democrats that want to sit there and pack the Supreme Court. It's the Democrats that want to sit there and change the dynamics of the country. It's the Democrats that want to sit there and allow the flag burning to take place. It's the Democrats that want to allow an invasion. It's the Democrats. You notice that it's never the talking point. The talking point for Republicans was, well, January 6th, they did an insurrectionist. But your party has done, I don't know, at least maybe it's not 24, maybe a dozen insurrections since then. Maybe nothing on the scale of what Republicans have done. But to be quite frank, I wouldn't even call what Democrats are doing an insurrection. The only reason I bring that up is because that's what Democrats have been bringing up for the last couple years now. I don't even think what they did on January 6th was an insurrection. Maybe per the definition of it, it was. But if you really think that those people are going to overthrow the government, are you stupid? Destiny believes that, you guys. There's actually some pretty smart people that believe that they really think that on January 6th, you guys, those people are going to overthrow the United States government. That's how bonkers some of these people are. I'm not saying it was good. I called the people that stormed the Capitol idiots. And I'm not for it whatsoever, but to sit there and say it was an insurrection, they were overthrowing the government, the republic's down, my life's in danger. Like, come on. Like, come on. It's crazy. Chase says, sadly, it's not. Can't keep going like this. Correct. You guys, if you were thinking about the idea that Donald Trump has this in the bag, as I mentioned before, he didn't have it in the bag even when Joe Biden was still running. The swing states were neck and neck. These polls like, oh, Trump's up like 19 points and all this. Don't believe all that stuff, you guys. Don't believe these polls one bit. You got to get out and vote, man. Look, we're still going to be here doing the show, hopefully. Regardless of who wins, man. But, dude, I'm telling you guys, like, you're going to really feel it in your wallets, man, if Kamala Harris gets put in office. You're still going to feel it regardless who's in office because of the damage that's been done. It's going to take time to sit there and implement those expirations of your tax breaks. But what I would say now, guys, as again, I'm not giving financial advice. I think legally I'm not allowed to do that. Not a bad idea to sit there and make sure you got some savings. If you guys can pinch in terms of like, if you're paying for like multiple streaming services, you know, maybe pinch a little bit there, you know, maybe not buy as much junk food. I would just be careful. You know what I mean? Make sure you got that emergency fund set up if you can. Maybe go out and get like a side gig. Things are only going to get worse with Kamala Harris in office. And very, very rarely, you know, I'm not saying I'm always right, but usually it tends to be the case where it's like, hey, this seems to where it's heading. Guys, she was a senator in my state, man. I got to see her full blown. I got to witness firsthand of the destruction of the Golden State. Like I got to actually witness history of the Democrats destroying this state. I saw it in real time. You got to prepare for what they're going to do to this country. Look what they've already done. Give it she's further left than Joe. And if you think Joe was bad and you're feeling the pressure now, folks, she's talking about implementing the Green New Deal. Please understand these. I'm not pulling my opinion right now. This is her stuff. She wants to allow illegal immigrants open borders. Still, she wants to sit there and increase taxes 70 to 80%. This is not my words. So best bet to obviously go out and vote for Trump, but it's also best bet to just make sure that you got a little bit of a safety net for yourselves, guys. Yeah, there you go. Hashtag don't CA the USA. That's our hashtag. We're trying to start a movement right now. I don't got a big following, but that's what I'm trying to start on Twitter right now. Hashtag. You go to my Twitter. Try to repost it right here. It's highlighting green for y'all right here. You hit that repost button and send it to all your friends and family and start the hashtag don't CA the USA because she's going to do it, man. She's going to do it. They will, yeah. Well, you heard it from his speech. I mean, if he's saying that from the Oval Office, yeah, they might just pack the Supreme Court. Absolutely right. Lily, I did get your email about Alabama. I believe it was you, Lily, that sent me the email about Alabama and the lovely area that you and your husband are in. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I took that email to heart. Seems like a very lovely area. I don't know if I would be able to survive in Alabama. You guys are a different breed over there, not in a bad way. I'm a California boy. Remember, I mean, the bugs and stuff you guys got over there and the gators? Yo, Don't get me wrong. I mean, I smoke cigars and drink whiskey, but, you know, there's a level of manliness that I don't know if I reach to be able to be certified to live in Alabama. It's up to God, folks. It is up to God, but it's also up to the American people. And they're going to do everything they did in 2016 and 2020 again. So we have a huge battle, man. Seeing the unleash of the deep state was another level. And again, you guys are never going to see me talk about any other thing like what I'm talking about now in terms of being vague of like the deep state. But again, it's the managerial class. It's these elites, these bureaucrats that were never elected that are running the country, regardless of who it is. That's why Trump had such an uphill battle. It wasn't just fighting the Democrats. It was also fighting the deep state. It was also doing these types of things. You don't just lose $1 trillion here like we saw in 9/11. You don't lose another $1 trillion like we saw a few years ago. You don't just sit there and do an accounting error of, what was it, $6 billion to Zelensky. All this stuff just, doesn't happen. No accountability, by the way. $40 million we also lost, excuse me, going to Ukraine. Nobody's been fired. Can you imagine if you lost your company $40 million? Could you imagine? You'd be out on your ass so quick. But, you know, if you're a Democrat, you get elevated. So if you sit there and do all these things, you're elevated. That's what happens with that party. I mean, God, I just don't understand how you can be a Democrat. I get why you wouldn't vote at the top of the ticket, like you wouldn't vote for Donald Trump. I fully understand. But for you to willingly go out of your way when you have a party that is not for democracy, that part blows me away. That they actually sat there and just nominated this chick without a single vote. It's never happened, dude. Yo, that still to me is wild. And what's even more wild, they're all for it, man. Like, fuck yeah, dude, fuck our votes, we don't need it. But voter rights, you freaking Nazi. Where's the paperwork? Isn't that a remarkable thing that you couldn't do anything for 4 years, roughly, without having that COVID card? These same people that are like, you can't go after people's voter rights, you can't make sure they have an ID. And then while you're trying to get into the place, like, where's your papers, you freaking Nazi? Where's the papers? It's like, I don't have a vaccine card. Like, what do you want from me? Well, show me the papers or you're not getting in. It's unbelievable, right? These people are crazy, man. That's just the hypocrisy, and they can't see it, man. There's so many remarkable things we can talk about here for hours. The same people that wanted you to get a vaccine card are saying it's racist to have people, regardless of your ethnicity and race, to go get a freaking ID so we actually know you're legitimate and you're voting. But it actually makes sense why they want to allow illegals to vote. They don't even care about you actually voting as an American citizen. They just don't give two shits about voter rights. Your vote doesn't even matter with that party. So anytime somebody starts saying this shit to your family member, friend, aunt, uncle, husband, wife, doesn't matter. Just ask them, again, simple question. Who voted for Kamala Harris? That's all you need to ask. You don't even have a response to it. Just let them mull over for a bit. Name one person. I'm not saying you don't even have to name 100. Just a single person in this country. Just a single uno who voted for Kamala Harris. You won't find it. Pretty funny how they're called the Democratic Party, huh? Not so much for democracy. Our pets have IDs. Exactly. How'd your pet get an ID, Lily B? They don't even have a thought in their brain. Now, I'm not hounding pets. I love animals. I grew up animals. You understand what I mean. See the thumbs up button? That's what they've been conditioning you to accept as a means to voice your vote. Can't get a job without? Well, come to California, my friend. There's a lot of illegal immigrants working. There's a lot of illegals here working. Again, man, there's an advantage of living here, and the advantage is I get to witness the Democratic machine. I get to witness the deep state at work here in my state and how it's gone down the pooper, man. We've done live streams, guys. We've done live streams in San Diego. I wonder if did they take it down? I wonder if it's still posted. It's a very short live stream of me going down to San Diego. And you guys, there's homeless. I mean, we counted, 20 homeless in like the span of 11 minutes. I almost stepped in human waste. I started gagging. I almost threw up. I mean, they're running this place into the ground big time. I see all of you over there. Dizzy says they have to protect democracy. Yeah, I love how he put it in quotes too. They are a bunch of lemmings. Is that lemmings? It's so tiny on my screen. I feel like Joe is that lemmings, man. They still believe they're fighting Hitler. Yeah, isn't that wild, Dizzy? Bad Daddy, hey, can't vote though yet. Dominion, Jade, Helm, mastering the human domain, one vote at a time. Say is a beautiful state. It's a shame they're making a life there impossible. Yeah, it is a shame. Nobody thought it would happen. The people that say our democracy doesn't even know what Athenian democracy is in the first place. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. I mean, there is an idea that I have that one of the main reasons why the Democrat Party and progressive left wanted to dissolve the education system. Not saying that people are dumber, even though statistically, in the first time in 100 years, the American IQ score has dropped, which would imply that people are getting dumber. That I think the purpose of them not teaching civics anymore in the classroom, they don't teach civics, so they don't teach about government. You usually have to elect to go into a class like that. Remember, they used to teach us civics back in the day, right? Every school pretty much had home ec, all those things. They don't really do that anymore, especially civics. They don't teach civics anymore. It's not a requirement. So when you have those types of classes that have been removed, I think the whole purpose of it was to sit there and make sure that people didn't know how the process worked, didn't make sure to know how our government actually functions. And the way they teach history nowadays is so that basically people, when something like this happens, they're not even aware of the fact of how impactful of what just happened really is. The fact that you have somebody that was nominated to an entire party that never received a single vote, and the Democrats don't conceptualize whatsoever. There's no connection to what actually happened to them. It just shows you the lack of understanding and the lack of learning that took place when they grew up. If the Republican Party ever did that to me, I would not be a registered Republican. Like immediately, like if depending on what time of day, obviously, right? But I would go down the next day. I'd be an unregistered Republican. I'd be an independent, probably. That's what's mind blowing is like they're completely okay with it. Like if they go, you know what? Like Donald Trump's not it. We're gonna sit there and remove him, and then not have like a panel of people, like an open convention to see who the people want in terms of that party, and then we get to sit there and vote. Like, hey, I want this guy or this guy. They never like I'd be out, but they're all for it, man. That's the crazy. This party has no bounds. They have no rules for themselves. They have no structure. These people can give two shits about any rules. They give two craps about fairness. They don't care any about anything. They're all about making sure that Donald Trump's not in office. They're making sure they can do everything they possibly can to stay in power. The evidence proves it. It's not my thinking. It's just what's been out there. I'm right there with you, Lily B. So what did Lily B say? I'm so burnt up about what happened in DC today. Yeah, Lily, but you can't let it get to you. You can't. The thing with following politics, Neil Johnson, social studies, yeah. Social studies nowadays is not taught how it was when we were in school, that's for sure. Even the books have changed. Lily, it's best. That's why you saw me laughing. There's only two routes you could really go with this stuff, especially if you're one that's in it. Like I am. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always researching it. I'm reading news articles. I'm always like investing myself. I even read political books. Current affairs is what they're also called. Is if you don't find it humorous, you're only going to be very upset and it's going to kind of ruin your day. And sometimes you can't really get away from that. It's all about the agenda. Yes, Javi. It's good to see Javi. Javi's a good friend of mine, guys. Give Javi a shout out in the chat. It is all about the agenda. The question is, what is the agenda? What is it that they want? You know what I mean? And what I think, based on my reading and what I've seen, is they want this elite class to continually progress, and they want to implement SEG scores, social social environmental governance score. I think that's what it was. I can't remember now. But their agenda is pretty socialized in my opinion. But what I'm saying, Lily, is you got to be Abby. We're ants. We're just peasants. Is really all we are. And that's why you see me laugh. Is because, like I said, I could be pissed about it, like the illegal immigration. Don't get me wrong. It's like I am upset about it. It's not okay that this is happening. But what are we gonna do? You know, I mean, obviously we can go out and vote, but that's really it. You got to go out and vote. And look, if there's people in here that are voting for Kamala, that's their right, man. I don't understand it. Again, I don't know in God's green earth why you would vote at the top of the ticket for Kamala, knowing that she's gonna sit there and kick your ass in terms of your pocketbook. Which is, it's people vote with their wallets. And that's what I don't get is like, man, you know that you're already struggling. So if you know that you're already struggling, you must enjoy it, right? That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, you have to go out of your way to vote for this person, this party. You must enjoy everything that's going on. Because if you think things are going to be worse under Donald Trump, that's kind of stupid, because you could look at what the guy did 4 years ago. Well, COVID happened. It wasn't his fault. That's China's fault, of which your guy said he was going to go after and get him. Never got him. Nothing's happened to China since then. Nothing. Like, no penalties, nothing. China's been off scotch-free, typical of Democrat to let people who fucked over millions of people just get away with it. It's typical. Joe Biden's never fired anybody. People definitely are dumber despite having access to all the information. You know, you want to know, Wrath, you want to know something interesting about that? I do statistics, and there's a graph out there. I don't have it with me right now, but a lot of scientists thought it was interesting. You know, those that study like societies and stuff. What they saw was, you know, as technology progressed, you saw an uptick in the uses of technology, right? And understood how it worked. And it peaked with my generation. It peaked with millennials in terms of the understanding and how to use it and work computers and build computers and all those things like coding, stuff like that. It peaked with my generation. And what they expected to happen was, even with Gen Z and these other generations that are coming out, is they expected the trend to actually continue to increase. They expected to go up because these people have only grown up with technology. That's all they ever used. You would think that since you grew up with it, you would know how to use it. But the complete reverse has happened. Actually, what you see is kind of remarkable. It's going down. The understanding, the usage of how computers work, how tablets work, cell phones has gone down. These kids don't know how to use it. And that's not my opinion. That's just what the data is portraying now. Could the data be wrong? Sure. But it's quite fascinating to see the decline in terms of understanding. And, you know, nothing against the people that I work with, the students, they're great. But you do actually see the lack of problem solving and things like that, unfortunately. You know, they're human beings. They'll figure it out later. But Star Child, y'all, Bald Brad Army, have a good night. I have a waterboard meeting? You being tortured, Star? Have a good night. Bad Daddy, good night, Star. Wrath, read the terms of service very carefully on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook's silencing conservatives at the moment. It's good hanging out with y'all. And again, social credit score, yes. Dizzy, that is correct. Looking at the bright side, there's a great book by Glenn Beck that talks about the ESG scores. Yeah. Environmental Social Governance Score. Was I saying SEG? There's a great book by Glenn Beck that talks about ESG. I've thought about writing actually my next book on ESG, but it just ESG is an idea where probably the best analogy would be looking towards China right now, where China, if you like commit a crime, you have what's called like a social score in some areas. Like say if you were to jaywalk in China, they'll actually post your picture up on like almost like a TV. You know, on our crosswalks, we have like the hand that says stop and then go. Well, they have these TVs in those areas, those vicinities, that will show your face when you commit, a simple crime such as jaywalking, and it will actually limit your credit score. And what your credit score turns into is what you're able to buy from goods and services from markets in certain areas. So, for example, like it would even limit the amount of toilet paper that you can use to wipe your tushy. That by the way, I'm not joking. That it will limit you the amount of actual pieces of toilet paper you can use based on your social score, because it's kind of tracking your carbon footprint. So this is going on in China right now. The Democrat Party, more specifically the progressive left, wants to implement something like that as well and treat life almost like a video game, to where if you commit a crime, well, it goes against your score in the same way your credit score gets affected as well. And this is also turned into the aspects of, well, the government's going to be able to track your carbon footprint, how much you buy, how much you spend, how much you pollute. That's going to give you thus a score. And based on your score, these banks and institutions will either lend you a loan or they won't lend you a loan. And that's the fear of it, is that they're going to track and remove your liberties and your private life and turn it into something to where no longer those liberties and freedoms will be given. And everything that you do on an actionable base, as well as a verbal base, will sit there and be recorded. And that recording then will give you a score. And that's how you're going to live out your life. This is all real, by the way. They're already implemented all this stuff. Most of you have an ESG score already, believe it or not. Most banks and companies have what's called ESG scores. It's not like it's a fictitious thing. It is already happening. It's already out there. How did the address go? Laughable. We all laughed about it. But anyways, yeah, so Glenn Beck has a great book on it, you guys. Alex Jones has a book. It's a good book, but I think Glenn Beck does a greater job of actually explaining it. If you're curious about the book itself, let me pull it up for you guys. I'd go out back. It's in my bookshelf, actually, right out there. ESG. Not the Great Reset. Is it the Great Reset? Maybe it is called the Great Reset. I don't remember the name of it. Glenn Beck. Maybe it is the Great Reset. Yeah, it is the Great Reset for sure. Dark Future is the new one that came out. So it's this book. There you go. That book there. Phenomenal book if you really want a deep dive into ESG scores. It takes you through the WEF. It takes you through these elites and kind of what their plan is for the world and how that's ultimately going to unravel into the United States and others, and how companies are already on board to do all these things. That's why companies are doing the things they're doing, is because it impacts their score. If it impacts their score, it's tougher to do business. It's tough to take out certain monetary loans, things like that. We need a must-read list from Brad. I could do them. I have a lot of reads that you guys should get into. But anywho, 1984, yeah. Orwell is just, it's crazy how much stuff like that guy talks about's happening. A lot of good books out there. I mean, the book you should start with is Trojan Horse. Am I not right? That's the book everybody should be checking out. I want to make sure that this is set up though. There we go. John Strickland, we learned Dominion is the software on the Dell machines. They played word games and screw us. Yeah, I mean, it's not good having a software like technology, really. I mean, I think we should go back to the old, just put it on paper, have people count it that way. That won't happen, but Karen Katman, right on top list. That was Brad's books. Well, folks, we will end it there. It's been about an hour. We'll be back here tomorrow to discuss the latest politics and the latest headlines. We weren't available for the White House press briefing. I was getting my teeth cleaned. How do they look? I was at a doctor's appointment getting my teeth cleaned, so I wasn't available, but we'll cover the highlights of that in tomorrow's episode. So you definitely want to be around. Again, we're not going to watch it. We'll just go over the clips and the highlights of what you need to know from that press briefing and a bunch of other news that's going on in the country, folks. Thank you always for supporting, taking care of me, always hanging out in the live chat, guys. You're always rocking and rumbling in here. It's always a good time with you. And I will see you bright and early tomorrow, 7 a.m. for another episode of Bald Brad Show. Take care, folks.